Welcome back, everyone. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about the icon meme set and my own little configuration that I ended up making. I wanted something that was similar to the icon meme set, but also offered the versatility of its bigger brother that has the sockets and all the other tools that come with it. But I didn't want to spend too much money making that kit. So did some research online, figured out some things that I could put together that would work and still give me that complete setup that I wanted. Because I also wanted this in a full metric set rather than standard end metric, just for diagnostic purposes. Like it's not often that you're going to run into a standard system nowadays. Most of it's going to be metric, and even working on older cars, like I do have a standard set. I just don't keep that in my toolbox because I don't use it very often. I still keep that standard set in my actual Craftsman toolbox, which is more than enough that I need whenever it comes to working on those vehicles. But as we all know, the icon meme set that we have here, if I can get this open, it's got the pass through with the extension there, and you get all these bits, hex, security torques, and all that stuff. But I wanted something that again offered more versatility than this, and I ended up creating my own little Frankenstein set, which I'm going to put on the screen right now. This is the Duratech set, and I ended up making my own version of particularly the two of the icon, small meme sets, for lack of a better term. So on this one, this set comes with the bit holder and the 1/4 inch ratchet inside. So, and it is in a flex head style. Now, I ended up purchasing separately was this set right here, which is the pass-through style in a somewhat locking flex head setup. It doesn't have an actual locking button, but it'll hold those positions and it's pretty sturdy. So keep in mind that this is how this set came here, with the exception of all the things that I swapped out, which I'll go over. So in the back side of it, I ended up putting this magnetic strip with strong little magnets in the back, so it could hold this extension in place. And whenever I close it, it has perfect clearance for both of these ratchets that I have in there. And the only reason that I kept both because it has different tolerances whenever it comes to clearance. So on this one, whenever you put the adapter on it, it actually is significantly bigger than if you were to use it with just the regular 1/4 inch drive. But on the same note, if you apply the bits to this one, you get way more clearance than if you apply it to this one. This one does have magnets on the inside, so it tends to hold them in place too. But if you're looking for something that has a tighter tolerance, this is definitely going to give you more for the bits than the sockets, and this one's going to give you more with the sockets than the bits. So ended up keeping both of them for that reason. That way I have a nice little setup that covers every aspect of it that I need. So let me put this back in here. Put this up. So anyways, it comes with standard torques and standard flatheads and Phillips and all that stuff. But I ended up gutting the whole thing with the exception of the extension that comes with it and obviously the ratchet. And then separately I bought was the pass-through flex head, locking flex head with the extension up here. But anyways, all these sockets are metric, and I ended up purchasing this ones from Harbor Freight. This is the Pittsburgh 10-piece metric colored set, and I bought it during their coupon sale that they had this last weekend, where you get 30% off everything. So, $7 and some change essentially is what I paid for this. So this one's going to have all the odd numbers, so it goes 13 and against a no skip all the way down to the 5 millimeter. So it's going to go 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. And then here we have all the even numbers, which is going to be 14 millimeter, going down. So 14, 12, 10, 8, and 6, so that's what we got here. But so I ended up doing that. So I took the 10 sockets that came here, which was metric on this side and standard on this side, took them all out and then just swapped them out and put the 10 piece in here. Now I did add magnets inside it that I super glued. So the way that I did it was I think it was this one right here. Yeah, it was what is this one? The 7 millimeter. And as you can tell, there's a little glue right there. But that's my mess up. Whenever you do it, I ended up putting the magnet on top of it, which Harbor Freight sells a pack of 10 ironically, so it works out perfect. I set it on top of it, and it sits perfectly flush right here, as long as you don't spill super glue like I did, because that's where I spilled it. You set the magnet on top. I put a droplet, and I turned it over, and I just practically set it in there, and I left it alone for a minute before I pulled it out, and it left the magnet seated in there. So pretty much did that for all of them. If you try to use the other sockets, like for example, if you try to use this one, the magnet will fall through because it's got more of an opening, even though it's not really more of an opening. But because this one, the square is much smaller compared to like having more surface area here, like on the edge of the socket versus that edge, it holds it better. And that's why I went with that one to utilize it to put all the magnets inside. So now I can turn this upside down and it'll hold all the sockets in place. And same thing with this one. I got this magnetic strip and I pushed it all the way. I'm gonna show this up to the edge, and I put 6 magnets here because I wanted it to have a strong hold. Three was good enough to hold it, but it would move and shift a little. But with six, it doesn't go anywhere. So put six there, and again, I attached all the magnets to one of these flat edges here, all six. Put small droplets of glue and then turn it upside down and set it on top of the other one. Try to get it even the first time. That way you're not like making a mistake. So buy 2 packs of the 10 magnets that Harbor Freight sells. They usually have them in the back, and use the 10 to hold the sockets in place, and then these six right here, put them in place so it can hold the actual little pass-through extension for you, and it'll hold it nice and tight. So I also had the Hercules impact rated bit set, and I took all the bits that came with this one because it was just super basic, and I ended up going with all the security bits with this one. So got the T40 in the security bit, and I ended up making this hole right here. I got my X-Acto knife, cut that one out, and I cut this hole out as well. But I got a pretty perfect Torx security Torx set, because you can use the security Torx on a regular Torx. So, and I went with the impact graded ones that was got more durable. Same thing with the flatheads. Swapped them all out and put the Hercules ones in here because I wasn't really using them, and I was like, this will be great for me to put in this kit. Same thing with the Phillips. And then when it came to the hex, same thing. I took all the security hex that were the metric size, and put them in this kit, and took all the standard sizes out. So I got the H9 here, and I can still use it as a regular hex and as a security hex bit. That way it made it much easier, to like do this whole setup and everything. But overall, keep in mind that I did purchase all this stuff when it was on sale. So the locking flex head ratchet that I got right here, I got for $17, with the extension as well, through Amazon during their Prime Day sale that they just had. And then for the whole kit right here, I paid $15 because it was on sale. So, that's $32 essentially. And then $7 for this. I'm at $39. And I already had the Hercules bit set. So if you want to equate the price into it, I also bought it when they had it on sale. And I think I paid like $19 or maybe even less. So give or take, I spent $60, trying to build this whole thing. The magnets were maybe like $4 for both packs, so it's still way cheaper than what the big icon set offers, and much more versatile than what the meme one offers, in my opinion. And again, this is just something that I wanted in all metric with the sizes that I wanted the most in here, and creating my own setup of that version that works for me. This is not going to work for everyone, but if you wanted like a kit that was more affordable that you could put together yourself, this is what I would recommend. If anyone has any other kits that they've seen that are more efficient or more affordable than this, make sure you put them down in the comments. Like make sure that you give that information to other people that want to create something for themselves. But like I said, overall, fairly inexpensive kit, and I am going to get a slightly bigger container so I can do the cutouts and be able to fit this ratchet in there properly. Oh, this one actually, because I keep the pass-through one inside. Because right now it will fit. So if I turn it inwards, like, yeah, like so, and I set it there, it'll still close and it's not going anywhere. So, but obviously when I open it, This one is going to be my go-to for the most part. That's why I left it at the top. If I need something with a different setup, then I'll go with this one. And like I said, it works essentially the same thing as the icon meme one. You got your little adapter right here, put it in there. Or if you want to do the whole pass-through setup, you can, make it into the little T handle. But anyways, that's going to be the little variation that I created of my own icon meme set, while also trying to create it to be more versatile like its big brother that has all the other extra parts. But if you guys have any questions, make sure you leave them down in the comments. I will try to put all the links to this stuff down in the video so you guys can follow, but most of it is in Harbor Freight. So I'll only put the links to the set that I bought here and the ratcheting locking flex head with the pass through on there, because this is practically the only two things you need. You can keep the metric sizes for the other ones, but I found it cheaper to just purchase the Harbor Freight one than having to outsource the individual missing sizes. You'll end up paying a little more. And again, the Hercules bit set, I think it's a 92 piece or 98, I forget which one, from Harbor Freight, the impact rated one. That's the one that I used to replace all these pieces. And again, I just cut two extra slots right here for these two ones, or these two right here. So that one, exact, and I've cut it out, and everything was able to fit perfectly in there. Let me know what you guys think of my little setup. Anyways, until next time.